You can be free. They say, well, how free are you? I'm not very free. So you have to find a way to recruit that's not about you. This is a critical concept. If you want to become a recruiting machine, you need to understand this concept. Here's you. Here's your prospect. And if you go to your prospect and you give them the facts, you give them the information, the only people who are going to join you are people who respect you, look up to you, and were wishing for you to call them, say, please, could I work for you somehow? Those are the only people you're going to get. If somebody's at a peer level with you, it's why nurses end up recruiting a bunch of other nurses. Teachers end up recruiting a bunch of other teachers. You know? Because they're going to their little peer group and they're saying, you know, hey, I've got all this information, but you're set up for disaster. If you're giving the facts yourself, you're set up for failure. So when I started, I was 23 years old. If I'm talking to a 50-year-old successful person and I have 18 jobs prior to talking with that, connecting with them, and they know I'm 23 with 18 jobs, and they know that they're successful at 50, what chance do I have? No shot. It doesn't matter how good, because they're just like, Eric, let's play 20 questions. Let's start with the first 18, your 18 jobs that you had prior to this. What in the world, kid? Why am I on your list? This doesn't even make sense to me. Right? So how can I educate that person so they understand what the opportunity is? I need to make it not about me. If it's about me, I'm dead. Ladies talking to a man. Do men have egos, yes or no? Yes. Will they dismiss you as a person with a business idea, yes or no? Yes. So how, ladies, can you recruit men into your organization if you make it all about you? It's going to be very difficult. People of different skin color, people of different age, people of different belief systems. Can a Democrat recruit a Republican? Is that possible in this world? So, you need to make it not about you. This has to not be about you. Get that in your head. You are a connector, not an expert. Write that down. You are a connector, not an expert. You're going to be connecting people to an expert source that is not you. A connector, not an expert. In order to do that, you need what we call a third party. You need to introduce, you go to your prospect, and then you introduce. There's somebody in room 2 that's very, very loud. They're saying, please mute that person in room 2 if you guys are watching back there. Introduce your prospect to a third party. You're a connector. You're going to introduce your prospect to a third party. So let me give you some examples of what a third party could be. Do you have a slide for this, John? Or can you type it as perfect? I love you. So let me give you some ideas of what a third party could be. Your product. Introduce them to your product. Here's your product. And if people ask questions about the product, well, let me show you all the backup about the product, instead of you trying to be an expert about the product. Your company website. You can point them to your company website where they can learn more. That's not about you. A distributor website. You might have a distributor website. All the information's on there. They ask you a question, you can guide them there. Your upline. Some of you have a good upline, some of you don't. If you don't, it's probably a better thing, but that's another training. Or someone else. If you make friends inside of your company, that have been involved longer than you have. Make sure you connect with as many people as you can, so when somebody you're talking to has a question, you can guide them to someone else. Oh, that's a good question. Let's go get the answer. Instead of you trying to be an expert. Like three-way chats, three-way phone calls, three-way text messages. Somebody asks a question, hold on. I'm going to connect this other person that I'm sure has the answer because I'm not an expert. This is not about me. Let me connect you to this other person. You connect to the other person and says, hey, my friend here, my prospect here, but you'd say, my friend has this question and I didn't really have the answer and I thought you probably would. Could you help us with this? And that person gives the information. You don't get to give any of the facts. You understand? Yes. And it's hard. It's really hard, especially if you've been involved in network marketing for a while. It's especially hard. If anybody asks you for directions, excuse me, do you know where the Quick Trip is down the street? Oh yeah, it's, go down 4 things and, 2 blocks over and you'll see it, on your left. If somebody asks you a question, you have to reserve and not answer and guide them to a third-party resource. This is vitally important. If you want to have recruiting results, third party needs to be your toolbox, not your words. The worst tool you can use are your own words. The worst tool possible. There could be articles about your company. There could be articles about your product. There could be printed material and brochures that you can show people, right? There could be videos. A lot of people using videos. Let me show you this video to explain it better than I can. There's audios. There's podcasts. There's links that you can connect people to. There's Zoom recordings that you can connect people to. This will explain it better than I can. I know right now, this event, there are people who are not involved in network marketing watching this event to be able to figure out what would I do if I joined. This is the smartest thing. Talk about third party. You don't have to say nothing. You just took them behind the curtain and showed them what they would do if they were part of this, right? So in-person events. Why don't we get together? I'll introduce you to some people. You can get the answers to your questions, right? 2-on-1. Go sit down for coffee. Yourself, somebody who's in your business, and they could either be physically there or set up on FaceTime or something and sit down with you and have coffee at a Starbucks and have the conversation and have that other person give the facts. Small group or in-house presentations, another way. Let somebody else give the information. You don't have to give the information. Local events, some of you have local events. People are getting together, whether it's training, information, whatever. Bigger company events, great tool to be able to use. So, your story or other people's story? Your story or other people's story is that's the only time you get to use your own words to help your prospect understand. Your story's okay, because that's still kind of third party. You're telling a story. But giving facts is prohibited if you want to have success. If you want to have duplication, if you want to really grow this, you need to not be the fact giver. You need to be the fact connector. Okay? You're going to connect that prospect. Your goal is what? Education and understanding. If it's just from you, they can't see it from you. Right? So, don't get in the way. Don't get in the way. Anytime. What's your name? Devin. So Devin, let's say I'm standing, see that chat thing over there? Let's say that's the business opportunity, okay? And I say, hey, Devin, I've got this really cool thing. It's amazing. And it's right here. Can you see it? No, sir. Why can you not see it? Because I'm in the way. Do you understand? So I need to get out of the way and say, it's here. And then she says, and she asks me a question. I have to resist the urge to do this. I'm glad you asked. Let me tell you. Because now I'm in the way again, and now she can start judging me, say, well, how much money are you making again, and how's this working for you? And I'd like, whoa, 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 whoa. Sorry, it's over there. Ignore the man over here introducing you. It's all over there. And will that help? As a man trying to recruit a woman, guys, most of you don't understand this. You're 1 or 2 words away from disaster. You got to be careful, because you won't even know you offended them. They'll still be smiling, and they're inside they're saying, this asshole, I can't wait till he gets out of here, because there's no way I'm joining this. Not happening. True? Person of color. My black friend, I'm talking to him. I'm in the way. What is he seeing? What are you seeing when I'm saying, let me tell you about this business and how excited I'm going to be, and here's all the information. Here's how much money people are making. Products changing lives. It's unbelievable. What do you see? You see a white guy. You see a white guy standing in the way. But if I get out of the way, and you can see people, black people involved, having success, doing things, you're like, maybe it's not just a white guy thing. Maybe I should take a look. See what I'm saying? If you're 70 talking to somebody 22 years old, and you're standing in front of them, they're 22 years old, and you're saying, you could do this business, son. What is a 22-year-old thinking? That ain't for me. You got to get out of the way, introduce them to some 22-year-olds. See what I'm saying? Third party is your best friend. This takes some discipline for you to be able to really focus on this. I'm going to teach you how, the whole arc of how you're going to recruit, be able to recruit on demand. But you got to get solid on third party. One of your assignments today is make a list of every possible third party you have in your company. Every one, including every friend, every resource, every article, every Zoom recording, every video, every audio, your product sampling, everything you can think of. Make it a total list. So when you're in front of somebody, you don't have to try and think of it out of your head. You can go look at your list and say, well, let me introduce you to this. Let me give you the rule if you want to be successful at recruiting. And this was great for me. When I was 23, 18 jobs, I learned this the hard way. I tried to recruit successful people. There was no shot. Here's the rule. If your lips are moving, you need to be pointing, reading, introducing, or telling a story. Pointing, reading, introducing, or telling a story. Pointing, reading, introducing, or telling a story. I'll get out of the way, sorry. See, I gotta get out of the way so you can take a picture. You need to be pointing, reading, introducing, or telling a story. It's not about you. Anytime, and listen, you could try and feed your ego by trying to be superstar. How many of you were wildly successful, even if that sounds egotistical, prior to being involved in network marketing? Please raise your hands. What did you do, sir? You flew jets. What kind of jets? Citation. I have G5. G550. That's the best. Isn't the best thing? Yeah. So anyway, as a pilot, he flew jets. As a pilot, you could probably go to people who looked up to you in your career, and you probably got some success, right, early. And you leveraged your influence. Hey, I've been successful. Come on along, right? But here's what happens. Let's say you were a 10 when it came to credibility and influence. Who were you recruiting? 6s, 7s, and 8s. And they were doing what you were doing. And what were they recruiting? 3s and 4s. And what were those people recruiting? 1s and 2s. And pretty soon, people couldn't even afford the product, right? You had this organization that kind of devolved over time, because even if you're highly influential, you're making tons of money, you have to kind of hold that and not make that the big deal for personal recruiting, because it's a trickle-down bad effect. If you use third party, even if you're successful, you have a better chance of being able to recruit everyone. People at higher levels than you, lower levels than you. We're going to talk about that.